Hello and welcome back everyone to my channel. Can't believe I'm back. Don't know what's going on. My sound is a little bit off all over the place. I'm not sure what's going on. And I'm not sure why my desktop audio is going stupid, but I think I've fixed it. Welcome back everyone to my channel. Yeah. Alright, let's just see if I can sort this out. My sound is all over the place, so I do apologise. I'm just trying to get everything in order. I've switched back over to the new setting. And it's safe to say I've like literally tried to do a few too many things here all at once, and it's not going as well as possible. But I think with that being said, I think we are good to go. I think I've got everything ready to go. Look, it's been a hectic time. I should really be asleep at this point in the day, but I am here doing the deadline stream off zero sleep pretty much. Yeah, it's been hard work. Let's put it that way. But hopefully, without further ado, I am going to get into like some of the questions that, you know, do need to be answered. I've sat there and like looked at all these yellow flags the entire time I've been in the air and like just had tidbits. I did all these videos on Saturday before all the FA Cup action and trying to work out what is going to happen, and it's just been an absolute nightmare. I've just sat there. I've tried to get a transition going for the first time as well at the start of these videos. It didn't quite go as planned as I thought. The sound didn't quite stop when I changed the thing, but it's a work in progress. Obviously I'm back, and hopefully the video quality, the actual display quality of the screen that I will show later on, should hopefully be back to its normal standard, because I am back on my monitor. I had to fiddle around with it because, yeah, but look, it's annoying to be back because I really enjoyed being in the UK. I loved watching the football at the normal hour, and like, look, it's midnight for me now currently, and it's only 4 p.m. in the UK, and hope that over the next few days my body clock can get back to some sort of normality. But at the moment, it is what it is. I'm just going to have to roll with it. Yeah. That's all I've got to say, really. I just hope that it goes all right. So without further ado, let's have a look at some of the deadline questions that we need to do. So hopefully I've got these slides all set, because I did try to prep this as much as I could before I hopped on, but I'm not really too sure whether I've got everything right or not. But let's click a button and hope for the best. Hey, there we go. All right, deadline day questions. What do we need to talk about today? So the captaincy, the more I've thought about it, I've sat there on the plane, right, and middle of last week, I actually sat there and I was in the, what do you call it? I was having a sleep and I had a dream. I had a dream that Phil Foden scored twice tonight, who's currently in my team. And then I had a dream that everyone's captain sucked, and I had Bruno Fernandes as captain, and he popped off on Thursday night against Southampton. So the more I think about back to the stream, the more I'm just willing to just sit there and go, you know, stuff it. Everyone's thinking about not playing Salah as captain this week. Maybe it is a sign that, you know, maybe I just shouldn't play him as captain. So for me, that is definitely what I'm going to be looking at doing. So yeah, let's hope for the best. So yeah, I don't know how it's going to go. I don't even know how my week's going to go. At the moment, I'm just rolling because I don't really know what I'm doing. Yeah, is the honest answer. I'm like so unprepared. Like normally I'm so much more prepared than what I am, but I'm going to talk through a few things. So there's a few things that we need to talk about. Double game week has been confirmed for game week 24. It's not as good as game week 25. So I'll put it out there. I was hoping for a game week 25 because I still have my triple captain, and I looked at that and thought, you know, that's the best time to play it. Get over and done with and hope for the best. So, you know, I don't know if that's going to be, I don't know if it's going to work that well, but we'll just have to wait and see. Hi, Big D. Welcome back. Hey, Trevor. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, it's good to be back. Well, I don't know if it's good to be back yet, but I'm just going to roll with it for now. Hopefully the audio and everything's right, because according to what I'm looking at, it says it's all right, but I'm not 100% certain. I'm just hoping that it is. I'm like looking down, checking that there's no conflicts of anything else, but it doesn't look like there is. So I think we're pretty good at the moment. So yeah, double game week's been confirmed for Liverpool and Everton in game week 24. I don't know whether Everton assets are really worth the punt at this point in time. I'm still not convinced. I want to see some games under Moyes really before I go there. But like, there's not much time between now and game week 24. Like, there's 3 game weeks after this week, which means that I've got a maximum, without taking any points deductions at the moment, of doing 4 transfers between now and the start of game week 24, which will be the double game week. Now, I already have 2 Liverpool players. I have Alisson and Mo Salah. I'm definitely going to get a third one. I'm unsure who, though. Look, Trent has massively fallen down. I've never really rated him as a player. even I know he can attack, and everyone always wondered why he wasn't starting for England and all this nonsense. But the dude can't defend to save his life. I can see Nottingham Forest exploiting him. I would not be surprised if Connor Bradley starts this game. Hey, Max Plug, how are you, buddy? Nice to see you in the chat. If you've got any questions, just drop them down, ask a question. Yeah, I'm not sure. But like for me, I don't really rate Trent. I was actively thinking about buying him because so many other people had bought him in and he was becoming a bit of a rank concern for me. But because of the fact that this dude can't defend, and if you're getting rinsed by Dallo, and look, I'm a Man United fan, I'm telling you, Dallo can't rinse anyone, and he made Trent look stupid. Hey, buddy, what's going on? How are you? Yeah, so look, I'm glad I don't own Trent, but if I own Trent, I'd probably hold, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did get benched. I mean, Morgan, Gibbs-White, Hudson-Odoi, and Alanga are 3 attackers that will rinse the shit out of Trent Alexander-Arnold. That's basically all I'll say on the matter. I'm glad I don't own him, but he could be worth having a punt in game week 23. That's all I'll say on that. But Mo Salah for sure, 100%. Definitely going to be triple captaining him in game week 24. I would have preferred the Wolves and Everton game, but alas, it's going to be 2 away games against Bournemouth and Everton. But the man is in such good form, you can't really bet against him at the moment. So for me, that's where I'll be going with that one. Now, there are so many yellow flags. I am unlucky, or should I say lucky. I've only got 2 on my team. Jurrien Timber, who I was already actively considering benching against Tottenham anyway, after I watched a Man United game. I wasn't overly impressed with Arsenal at all, and I'm actually thinking of getting rid of Jurrien Timber because I just don't think he's a very good option at the moment. But I'm probably going to roll because I don't really like any of the other options. And yes, I could bring in a Crystal Palace defender, but the problem I have with Crystal Palace at the moment is that they're on track for a blank game week 29, and I don't want to be wasting 2 transfers out of my next 8 to bring someone in to bring them back out. What'd you do? What'd you do, buddy? Let us know what you did. So yeah, I haven't made a transfer. I thought about it on the plane. I've done so much thinking on the plane. My head was going to explode. In fact, my ear almost exploded on the way down. I wear, what do you call it? Like earplugs, earplanes. And unfortunately, they weren't working for me very well on the first plane because I was a little bit sick. I'm still kind of a little bit sick, but I'm almost getting better. Occasionally, I get a cough, but I blame that down to the UK weather more than anything else. So yeah, yellow flags. I have Isaac. I'm not concerned. I'll be playing him. If he doesn't play, I've got Chris Wood on the bench, so it's a pretty damn good replacement sitting on the bench this week. So I'm not overly concerned whether he plays or not. Now, some people are unlucky, and they have Isaac and João Pedro flagged in their forward lines. Plus, they might have a Timber. Plus, they might have some other people that are flagged as well. Apparently, Murphy's flagged from Newcastle as well. And we'll get into the press conferences a little bit, but I wouldn't be too concerned with any of the Newcastle players. I think they're all likely to play this week. I can't see them not playing. I suppose that's the best way of putting it, really. So, yeah, for me, I think they'll all play. So I'm not too concerned. I am concerned about Timber. That was definitely a hamstring. Gabriel Jesus, if you own him, you need to sell him. If you have a Van Linson from Bournemouth, you also need to sell him. He's no good either. So they're going to be out for a considerable amount of time, so I'd be moving them on post-haste. Other than that, preparing for the possible doubles and blanks and trying to maximise the points on offer. So I am going to quickly go through my Alanga or Pedro. Do you mean to buy? Alanga or Pedro to buy or to play and bench one or the other one? If you are thinking about buying, I'd buy Alanga over Pedro. If you're thinking about playing, I'd probably play Pedro because he's on penalties. Hopefully that answers your question. Tyler, haven't seen you on the chat before. Please think about dropping a sub if you haven't already subbed. Make sure you whack a like on the video as well. Yeah, I think that's how I'd answer that. I'd always play a penalty taker over a non-penalty taker. I think that's the easiest way. If you're ever in doubt about whether you should be playing someone or not, play the penalty taker, because if there's a gift given, your penalty taker will get you returns. That's the best way of looking at those ones. Yeah, so for me, that's what I would say to that. Now, in terms of maximising the points you want to get, so this is why I haven't bought in Anthony Gordon, because I could afford to. We'll get into my team in a little bit, but Anthony Gordon is definitely a player I really love. But at the moment, and he's due a massive haul. Like, he's due a massive haul, 100%. I really believe that he's going to get a haul at some point. I just don't know when that's going to be, but I do hope that he doesn't get a massive haul, because at the moment I don't have him. So for me, I'm just kind of hoping that, he doesn't. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work moving forward, but we're just going to roll with it and hope for the best that he doesn't keep doing that. So yeah, Anthony Gordon's a really good buy. I still have Phil Foden. I'm riding that train, baby. I'm riding it till the end of the Ipswich game at the very minimum, and then hoping for the best. That's all I'll say. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, well, stuff it. It's worked out well for me so far. The last 2 weeks have been pretty good as a Phil Foden owner. I really hope my dream comes true. I literally had a dream last week that Phil Foden got a brace in this game, and he got like a massive haul. And Brentford do concede goals at the G-Tech, so I'm quite confident. And I've obviously got the Ipswich game next week. So for me, the next 2 weeks, as much as I'd love Anthony Gordon, the player that's going for me is Phil Foden in order to get there. And then I don't really want to lose him the next 2 weeks. I think Man City are in better run of form. They're scoring goals, and they're making it look kind of easy again. So for me, it's definitely one of them ones I'm willing to just sit there and just hope for the best, really. Now, you do want players that are playing every 90 minutes every week. Now, I will say this. Luis Diaz didn't start in the FA Cup, which means I think you can almost lock him in to start against Nottingham Forest. Now, whether you want to play him against Nottingham Forest is another story, because Nottingham Forest's defensive data this season has been unbelievably good. I'm not sure if it's a move you want to make, but realistically, from week to week, Diaz is one of those weird ones. It's like all the Liverpool players. I sit there and think, the third Liverpool player, maybe if I really want to take a hit or a risk, I bring in a Liverpool player as the third attacking player. I have Alisson, Salah, and then maybe I'd really love to bring Jota in, but that dude can't be trusted. And the way the double game week's going to work, so Liverpool are going to play Bournemouth at the start of it. Then they're going to play a Tottenham in the Carabao Cup return semi-final leg, the second leg, at home. And then they're going to play their FA Cup game. Now, the FA Cup game is the third game, and then the fourth game of like that 2 week stretch before game week 25, they'll play the Everton makeup game. So like there's a lot of games to factor in there, and I just think that you just want to pick a defender. Like the defenders are going to start those games, and they're pretty injury free. I'm actually thinking about just bringing in Van Dijk instead of Trent, because I think Van Dijk's probably the safest bet. All right, Max Plug, what do we got? Sells, Alexander-Arnold, Hall, Robinson, Mo Salah, Palmer, Gordon, Ahmad, Mateta, Havertz, Wood, Fabianski, Timber, Enzo, Kirkes. Who do I start and bench? All right, I would be benching. I hate to say it, man. I'll be benching Trent. I just think the dude's going to be on the bench. I really think that Trent's going to be on the bench against Nottingham Forest. As a non-Trent owner, I'm hoping he is. But I just realistically, if he's starting against bloody Accrington Stanley, what's that telling you? I don't know. I reckon Connor Bradley could get a start here. He might not. I just don't think Trent's going to return against Nottingham Forest anyway. So I think you definitely start Sells in goal. Enzo, you probably bench Enzo. I bench Timber as well and play Robinson, Hall. I know. Robinson, Hall. I'd play Timber. I'd play Hall, Robinson and Timber. And then I'd have Trent first sub, Enzo second, and the third one I'd play Havertz. Oh, mate, your forward line's a bit interesting. Mateta, Havertz, and Wood. I'd normally say bench Wood, but I watched Havertz against Man United on the weekend, and he had an absolute mare. He couldn't hit a barn door. So that's a hard one. I think the rest are pretty simple. You play Salah, you play Palmer, you play Gordon, you play Ahmad. Ahmad's got the Southampton fixture. He looks beautiful. I think you're captaining probably Palmer in that lineup as well. That's what I would do. Hopefully that helps, Max, with some luck. So, yeah, moving on from that, Diaz should start. I just don't know about Trent. I wouldn't be going there. If you don't own him, you're laughing. If you do own him, you'd be sitting there shit worried, I reckon, at this point in time. Lastly, which moves should be you making this week? Well, I'm currently making none. And I'm going to talk about who I think are the best players across every line and who they are that I don't have that I would potentially be looking at moving. I am still potentially likely, we'll have a look at my team in a second, but I am still likely to make a transfer this week. I just got to work out whether it's something I want to do or not. So, all right, let's get into it. Let's jump over. All right, so last week I did get 72 points. It was a green arrow. I was top 53,000. I went back in. I'm literally 45,000. Look at that. Top 45. Like exact. What are the odds of getting top 45? They must be near on impossible, I would have thought. But yeah, it was a pretty decent week. Other than Ahmad sitting on the bench who got me 9 points. I mean, I wasn't going to be playing him over any of those players anyway. So it was just unfortunate that he was like the fourth top scorer on my team last week and he was sitting on the bench. I mean, Nicholas Jackson was continuously poor, but I'm of the belief that this man is going to turn around. Now, lots of people sold him this week. He's like the most sold player this week, I think. I have to double check that in a second. But the dude's got form, man. Like, he's I get that he's only scored once in like the last 7 weeks, but I'm pretty confident he's going to return against Bournemouth. I wouldn't even be surprised if he got a double, just to literally stick it up, everyone. Oh, okay. I'm also able to take a -4 hit to bring it forward. I don't know if it's worth a -4, to be honest with you. I think I'd just probably bench one of them. I feel like Chris Wood could potentially return against Liverpool. He is on penalties. So if it was between the two of them, I mean, Odegaard and Havertz both missed a penalty against Man United on the weekend, which isn't... Maybe they give it to someone else. I'm not sure. I still think Odegaard's probably the penalty taker. So with that being said, I think I'd probably bench Havertz instead of Wood based on that. And that's purely that. That's all. So yeah, that's how I'd say to that. So I'm pretty happy with my team this week. So I haven't actually made any transfers. I go to pick team at the moment. I currently did have Mo Salah captain, but I can tell you straight off the bat that I will be changing that right now. Bruno Fernandes is going to be my captain. I'm just going to save that so I don't forget to do it later. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way it looks at the moment. Now, Jurriën Timber, I don't know why he's not flagged, but you would think he is. I'm just going to refresh my page, see if he does. He's still not flagged. Isaac's the only one that's flagged. Like, Jurriën Timber should be a yellow flag, but he's not. He's a good chance of missing. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I'm going all right. Dylan. I'm going all right. Up and about. I don't even know. My body's just all over the place at the moment. I'm on UK time, but it's 20 past midnight in Australia now. I should be sleeping, but in reality, here I am, putting in the hard work. So, yeah, my bench this week, look, I'm one of those people that I don't really care if Isaac plays or not, because if Isaac plays, everyone else has him, so whoop-de-doo. Some people are captaining him. I'm definitely not, because he's yellow flagged. And also, I don't think the Wolves fixture at home is going to be as easy as everyone thinks. Yes, it's a green fixture on paper, but I'm not sure it is. But Woody the Woodpecker is sitting there on my bench, and this dude loves getting wood for me on the bench. So I'm just kind of hoping that Isaac doesn't play, and then Chris Wood comes on and I'm laughing. And then I'm like, and then I'll really be hoping that Nottingham Forest do one on Liverpool. I assume that Isaac's going to be playing, and I've captain Bruno. I mean, like, as a Man United fan, I mean, I'm going to be getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning on Thursday morning to watch that game, and I tell you, I'm very excited to watch Bruno. I mean, he finished that goal against Arsenal with a plum, and I just got a feeling Bruno's in for like one of them. I know he had like that 17-pointer earlier in the season. I feel like he could be in for one of them. Yes, his form hasn't been the best since like game week 16. He obviously went 2 against Bournemouth, obviously got sent off against Wolves, missed the Newcastle game, returned against Liverpool. So he scored and assisted in his last 2 games against arguably the 2 best teams in the league. So now he's playing the bottom team. And if we go back to what he did the first time round, he got 1 assist. He had 0.22 expected goals, 0.35 expected assists. I mean, it is taking a punt. His data is the worst out of all these options. Only 0.36 expected goals per 90, 0.21 expected assists. But I've just got a feeling. And when I've got a feeling, I follow the feeling. And like the only other time it hasn't worked for me captaincy-wise this season, has been when I picked bloody Dominic Solanke in that 1-week punt. That man, as much as I think that he's in the wildcard draft I put together this week as well, that man just shits me to the point where he burnt me so hard on that 1-week call on captaincy that the only one I've got wrong all season, pretty much, other than the Erling Haaland game weeks 6 and 7 or whatever it was. Other than that, I've nailed it every week, even when I've changed it off Salah. I had Saka when he got 18 points. Mad. So I'm taking a punt here. I'm definitely going with Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, look, I wouldn't be too disappointed if you had to start Chris the Woody Woodpecker. I mean, the dude is in some form. I mean, I feel bad about leaving him on the bench, but in reality, the Southampton fixture, I have to play Bruno, I have to play Ahmad. If I'm holding Nicholas Jackson, then he has to play. I mean, Bournemouth at home should be easier than Liverpool at home, I would have thought. And then the only other person that you would likely bring out for is Phil Foden, But Phil Foden I just know, man. I've just got a feeling. If I'm having a dream that he's getting a double, I'm playing him. I don't care. It's been risky. The 3 weeks I've had him, FYI, he's had 0.85 expected goals, 0.41, 0.64. He's obviously returned in 2 of the 3 weeks. Probably not as many points as I was hoping he was going to get. But I just got a feeling. I've got to see it through. I've got 2 more weeks of this. I've got the Phil Foden bandwagon. If he pops off the next 2 weeks, or if even it pops off in 1 of the 2 weeks, it's going to have been worth the punt. And then when it comes, if Man City look like they're back in form, then maybe I stay for the Chelsea at home game because Chelsea aren't playing the best. Arsenal aren't playing very well either. He could be a hold, but I'm not convinced he's a hold. He strongly probably will be coming. He'll probably become a Brian and Buemo in game week 23 or 4. Now, if I have a quick look at the transfers, I'll go here really quickly. And we're just diving around all over the place because that's where my head's at the moment. So you will have to just bear with me. I don't know why that's not showing up with Brian and Buemo. Let's just try midfielders. Mate, am I spelling his name wrong? What's going on here? There he is. Sorry. So Brian and Buemo, the next 2 weeks you don't want him. 21, 22. 23, Crystal Palace, Spurs, 24. Maybe it's one of them ones where I hold Phil Foden and save the transfers until game week 25, then get rid of him, and then bring in Brian Mbeumo, who's got West Ham, Leicester, Everton, Aston Villa, Bournemouth. That looks like a really nice 5-person run. I don't know what's going on my screen here. Foden captain, yes or no? No, I'm not captaining Foden. Hi, 7-year, how are you, buddy? Yeah, no, not for me. I think it's definitely a Bruno captaincy decision for me. But, yeah, I think that Phil Foden definitely starts. But if you really wanted to be a risk taker and really go off the back of my dream, you could captain him, but I would definitely not be recommending it. If you don't have Bruno, would you captain Ahmad or too risky? Bailey, nice to see you, buddy. Hope you had a good new year. No, I would not be captaining Ahmad at all. In any way, shape or form, definitely not captaining Ahmad. All right, let's have a look. All right, pull out my phone. It's so good. Being back home, I have like the 2 massive screens as well, so I can see everything. Let's have a look. All right, you've got Timber, Saliba, Dubravka against Wolves at home. Yeah, that's all right. Kirkes over. Oh, yeah, Dalot's suspended, and Hodgson's got Chelsea. Yeah, I don't mind that. Kirkes has got more attacking potential than Hodgson, I think. Palmer, Gordon, Bruno captain. Yeah, I love it. Salah, Alanga. Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't mind that. I think I wouldn't even bother to make any transfers of that, to be fair. I think you probably, yeah, I think I'd leave it as is. I feel like whoever plays against Trent on the left-hand side for Forest is going to have huge amounts of joy. That's what I reckon. What does 7-year reckon? I would change the bench, put Gap. Yeah, I agree. Oh no, it doesn't matter because yeah, no, it doesn't matter because Dallow's suspended, so he's first bench anyway. It doesn't matter. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Sorry, I was just trying to sit there and just work out what that was that I'm saying there. Yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned about that at all. Yeah. By the way, how's everyone going with their chip strategy? Have you guys figured out what you're going to do? I'm going to quickly jump to it in a second and show you what I'm thinking. But we are going to do a couple of things first. I'm going to quickly go over here and have a look at FPL Challenge this week and see what's going on. Hi, Ben. How are you? Bench Pedro or Wood? They're both penalty takers. They both have interesting fixtures. Who has João Pedro got this week? Bear with me. We're going to do Squid's predictions in a little bit. And that's Squid has got on the phone to me from London and basically told me who he thinks is going to win this week. He meowed it across the line. Where's the transfers tab? And forwards. Pedro has got... Where's the yellow flag? He has... Oh, he's got Ipswich away. I think in that... I think you play Pedro. You play Pedro, you bench Wood. Pedro's got the easier fixture against Ipswich. Wood's got the much harder fixture against Liverpool. The only thing I'll say on Chris Wood, he doesn't need many chances to score a goal. He is running on 32.5% shot accuracy for the season. The only concern I've got is that João Pedro is not going to play. And if João Pedro doesn't play, as long as you've got Chris Wood first bench, Chris Wood's going to come in anyway. So, yeah. I think if João Pedro plays, he will start. he's not going to be sitting on the bench. So if you're worried about him starting on the bench, I think if he's fit, he's going to be playing from the start. If he's not fit, he won't be playing, and then Chris Wood comes in for you straight off the bat anyway. I think that's what I'd say to that. What else was I going to say here? I'm going to check the press conferences in a second as well, see what everyone's got there. Oh, I know. Look, I've only benched Wood once this season, and he got 9 points on the bench. But the other times I have benched him, he hasn't returned. So normally I've read the Chris Wood benchings pretty well this season. Whether that works or not this time round, I'm not 100% sure. All right, your chip strategy, Ben, 31 to 33. Yeah, assistant manager, I don't mind that. 34 free hit, wildcard 35, 36 bench boost. I don't mind that. Now, I'll say this. Last year, I played my wildcard pretty much similar to what you did. Like 2 weeks before, or maybe a week before. And in reality, I should have played it the week before, like everyone else did. But I played it a week later thinking I was going to get all clever in that. But I missed out on the points that week. And that was the difference between me finishing top 50,000 last year and where I finished on 101,000. So there you go. Cheers, man. FPL MZ. Thanks. Make sure you drop a like and a sub. Yeah, we got to get Tom on another stream. Yeah, I know. I agree, Tom. The most requests I get are for Tom being on the stream. It's pretty funny. I mean, the dude's a bit of a legend in the WhatsApp chat. But he's a bit of a mouse when you put a mic and a camera in front of him. It's funny though. When I first started this, I thought, oh mate, I don't know if I can do this. Like, it's just weird having a camera there. I've got a microphone here. I don't even know who's listening to me. The more I've got into it though, the more I've enjoyed it, and the feedback always helps. So thanks for all the positive feedback. I love that people are getting in and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to quickly talk through my chip strategy as well, but I'm going to look at some press conferences to see if we can find some information. Yeah, lots of people thinking that João Pedro won't start. A's. Hello, A's. New person in the chat. Hello. Start Cunha or Iwobi. Let's have a look. So Cunha this week he just happens to be there on my screen. That's handy. So he obviously was suspended. He's back fit, available for this game. He has the Newcastle game, and Newcastle's defensive data of late has been pretty good. Now, I'll just quickly pull up Hall just to see. So expected goals the last 5 weeks have been 0.95, 0.9, 0.34, 0.71, 0.19. The only thing I'll say is that Cunha's on corners. He's probably also likely on penalties. And Iwobi, let's find him really quickly. He has the West Ham game. Now, I expect a bit of a West Ham. I watched the West Ham Aston Villa game, and in the first half, West Ham looked so much better defensively, which makes you think Fulham aren't going to score many goals, if any at all. I really think they're going to get it. I really feel like West Ham are going to go on a little bit of a run. In terms of what that means, I mean, Iwobi's numbers have been pretty good the last 2 weeks. 0.58 expected goal involvement, 0.39 against Bournemouth and Ipswich. Hasn't returned, though, in about 6 weeks since that massive 15 points against Brighton. I mean, the fixture tells me that it should be Iwobi, but Cunha's on penalties, he's on corners. I think that's what I would. That's what I think. That's I think where I would be leaning to go. How many goals will we smash in the Saints, mate? I'm hoping at least 5, but reality, I don't know, man. I don't know. I've got Bruno as captain. I've actively got. Hold on, I'll flick to the screen on here. One of the ones here. No, sorry, that's my wildcard team. If you're wildcarding this week, where are we? I have got the. I swear it's on here. I do apologise. I'm just jumping all over the place. I thought I'd prepared this, but I haven't. All right, we're going to quickly... Well, in the meantime, I have got Bruno captain. No problems, A's. Thanks for joining. Make sure you smash a like and a sub. In terms of this, though, last week I got 67 points. Pretty average. FPL Challenge is a bit of fun. This week it's about picking players that have played at least 5+ seasons for a club. So I can tell you who I'm picking in this. I'm picking a 1-2-1. And I tell you that, well, you probably have to put Mo Salah in there. And the other one is definitely going to be Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes is 100% going to be making my captain here. I mean, the dude is dynamite. In terms of forwards, who has played 5 seasons at their club? Now, I don't actually know the answer to this, so hopefully someone can help me out, but I'm pretty sure... I mean, Jamie Vardy has, but he's got Crystal Palace at home. I mean, he could score that. None of these other forwards have played 5 seasons at their clubs. Antonio has, but he's obviously not available. No, can't see anyone there. Oh, you know what? I'm going to stuff it. I'm going to pick Jamie Vardy for Leicester City there. He's going to come in. He's definitely played 5 seasons. In defenders, who's played in the defence now that's got a good fixture? That's the key. You know what? You know who's got a good fixture this week? And who's been bossing it of late? Now, no one's talking about him, but this man, where is he? He had a monster game against Arsenal in the FA Cup as well, once I find him. I can't find him, so let's just search him up. Harry Maguire had one of them games against them, and then goalkeepers, get rid of that. Who's been there for 5 seasons? Let's go with Jordan Pickford. I reckon he could be a good shout, you know. I don't know, just got a feeling that Jordan Pickford might be pretty good. All right, we'll save that. That's done. See how we go with that. All right, now back to fantasy and picking the team. I'm telling you, I'm not lying. Bruno Fernandes is my captain currently. There we go. If Woody the Woodpecker gets a hat-trick, Tom does videos for a week. Yeah, I'm happy to give him the logins. He can upload, and then we can all laugh at how bad it is. The thing we struggle against this kind of... Yeah, I agree. So you come up with a really good thing, FPL MF said. Man United have played super well the last 2 weeks, and they played well against Man City as well. So 3 arguably teams that Ten Hag used to suck against, and the team used to go and get absolutely smashed by, he's either beaten, drawn, he's either beaten or drawn them. I mean, we did lose to Arsenal the first time around, but the second time around, it looks like we can actually defend set pieces now. So I'm pretty confident in a clean sheet for Man United against Southampton. And I watched that Southampton-Brentford game, and they gave up 11 big chances to Brentford. Now, Brentford's team's good, don't get me wrong, but their away record's shocking, and yet somehow they still managed to get 11 big chances against Southampton. Bruno Fernandes is on penalties. All we need is Ahmad to do a little bit of trickery inside the box or a Garnacho, and they fall over at the penalty, Bruno goal, 9 points in the bag. Double that as your captain, 18 straight off the bat. Like, that's all he needs to return here. I just think that's probably where I'm looking to go. Like, I'm convinced. I woke up this morning and I was like, who am I captaining? I woke up at 10 o'clock in the morning. It felt like it was 2 a.m. because I was on UK time, and I literally felt like this. And then I was like, stuff it. Bruno's captain. I had the vision. Phil Foden, 2 goals tonight. Bruno Fernandes, 2 goals as captain. Lock it in, baby. People expect us to smash Southampton, but only United fans know we're about to do it. Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, I agree. We'll either get a penalty in like the 90th minute or whatever, or we'll just carve them apart. It'll be one or the other. It's gonna be a hard watch. Now, while I was in the UK and I did the live streams of Alan, this is a shout out to Alan because he said he couldn't join me today. He's working and it's 4 p.m. start and it's 4:35 now, and he doesn't finish till 5. But we went and got these bottles of vodka, the bison fed bottles of vodka, and they came out with free shot glasses. So I said, in his honor and in Squid Game's honor as well, the cat, I will do a shot on his behalf in this stream. So Alan, thank you very much for hosting me and doing the live streams. And hello to Tom, who has just joined the chat. Tom, you have been asked for. People want you to do videos, buddy. We need to get you on another video and another stream. And we'll get Tom a little bit more lit so that way he speaks up. I'll give him a shot maybe on stream. That will definitely wake the Tom up. He loves a bit of a stream and he loves a shot. So here's to Alan for hosting us. Cheers, buddy. That is one of the nicest shots in the world. Frangelico. What a drink. That's just beautiful. There you go. There's some free marketing for you. All right, Goat himself. My team, Henderson, Guardiola, Milenkovic, Robinson, Salah, Palmer, Sarr, Diaz, Watkins, Isaac, Jackson. Should I roll or make a transfer? All right, so you've got a pretty... I would get rid of Watkins. I'd be very concerned about Watkins. I think I'd get rid of Watkins. Start Woody or Semenyo. Woody's a penalty taker. Bournemouth are missing a couple of attackers. Neural... sorry, I apologise if I said that wrong. Neural. Hello and welcome. Make sure you drop a sub, guys, if you're joining for the first time as well. Smash a like as well. Start Woody or Semenyo. Definitely Woody for me. He's a penalty taker, and you never know. Liverpool haven't been defending the best of late, especially in the league. I would be starting... All right, back to the other question. I'm assuming I don't see a second goalkeeper, so I'm assuming Henderson is the goalkeeper starting. Guardiola's got Brentford. Milenkovic has got Liverpool. Robinson's got West Ham. I think that's fine, that starting back line. I don't mind that. Salah, Palmer, Sarr, Diaz. Yeah, Diaz is fine this week. Diaz will definitely be playing. He was benched again for the FA Cup. And Darwin Núñez, FYI, for anyone that's interested, Darwin Núñez is suspended for this game, so there's going to be less rotation. So that means other people should hopefully get a little bit longer as well. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with the chat. Hold on. And then Watkins, Isaac, and Jackson looks like a good forward line. The only problem I've got is Watkins. I reckon I'd probably sell him for a Solanke or a Wood. I wouldn't sell him for Wood this week. Wood next week for the Southampton game. Maybe just roll it and hope that Aston Villa get a good result against Everton and Watkins starts. In that case, you just probably roll this week and then I'd be trading Watkins potentially to Wood next week for the Southampton game. Tom, Isaac just called me, said he's injured. Oh, come on, mate. He's not injured. I'm telling you. Hamstring awareness is not injured. I've played, to an FYI, I've actually pulled a hamstring and played 4 days later, and I did it when I was 35. Isaac is in his prime, in his mid-20s. I'm telling you, even if he pulled it, he's probably still good to go. That's what I would say to that. United defenders could be good differentials. Yes and no. I mean, Man United's fixture run is pretty good coming up. Let's have a look. So I'm just pulling up Hamad here because he's in my team and he's Southampton. I will be shocked if we concede against Southampton at home. I really believe we will keep our first clean sheet since the Everton game this week. Against Brighton, I'm not as convinced we'll keep a clean sheet. Against Fulham away, again, not convinced. But Crystal Palace, I could see a clean sheet. Spurs, that game could be anything. That could be another 4-3 at Spurs. Yeah, shots delish. Yeah, I know. I knew Tom would like that. Then it's a bit... Then you got the Ipswich at home game. Now, the thing that I love about Man United fixtures and why people should be looking there, and yes, Garnacho's potentially back on the menu as well because he was back in the starting lineup against Arsenal, which maybe means that he's earned Amarin's trust. But I think for me, it's still definitely Amad and Bruno. But game week 29, where everyone's going to be having these players that are blanking, guess who has a very nice looking fixture? Manchester United against Leicester in game week 29. There is a lot to love about owning Man United assets. I was so tempted to sell Bruno when he got suspended as well, and Amad. But now I'm like going, I think I'm just going to hold him till at least game week 30 when I'm most likely going to wildcard in game week 30. And then maybe I'll swap it around. But it just depends. Like, lots of people thinking, do you bring in double Everton? Now, I'm just going to pull up an Everton player when we talk about, like, strategy in terms of, like, preparing for weeks that are coming up. Now, Jordan Pickford is an option that you could have in goal. And yes, this man does look... He's been good. He's been one of the best goalkeepers this season. Back up to 5 mil as well. There was a point where I think he was 4.8, 4.7. But Aston Villa... can you expect a clean sheet there? Probably not. Spurs at home? Probably not. Brighton away? Probably not. Leicester at home game week 24? Yes. And that's when I would potentially bring him in then because obviously he's going to have the Liverpool and Leicester game. I mean, if Liverpool smack him for 5, no, they're not going to do that, realistically. I hope they do and Salah gets a hat-trick. That'd be nice as a triple captain, but I just don't see it. Then they got Palace and Man United. Brentford away, Wolves, West Ham. I mean, it's not the worst run in the world, particularly if you're thinking about game week 29. Like at the moment, I own Alisson, and I expect Liverpool to overturn the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg because it's 1-0 and they're going to Anfield. I just can't see Tottenham doing very well, but that's just what I think. Yeah, I think we're likely... Well, Dallow's suspended, right? So I think that we could see a lineup potentially where Ahmad starts at right wing back, and then it's Garnacho, Bruno, and I actually think Xerxes might start. You know, I don't think Højlund's been overly fantastic of late either. So for me, I just can't see it really as well. I'm really... don't do Palmer for Ahmad. I don't think he's dead. I mean, he has been disappointing, but he's still ticked over. I mean, he's got 22 points in the last 3 weeks. So his form's pretty decent. 7.7 points per game. That's pretty good. You're not going to get too much better than that. And if you do take him on, you're going to get really burnt by players that are going to consistently sit there and have him. Like I have no intention of getting rid of him. Yes, he'd been a little bit disappointing like 4 of those last 5 weeks there, but returning against Crystal Palace, I think Bournemouth Wolves are quite nice fixtures. Even the Man City away game, like the next 5 for Chelsea are the next 7 for Chelsea are really good, especially now that Arsenal looks like they won't make the Carabao Cup till 29. I think I just hold Palmer. And then maybe you look at it in game week 30 when you're on wildcard, but I just don't think he's worth selling, to be honest. He's like worth so much team value as well. Yeah, I don't know. He just doesn't make enough of his opportunities. That's what I don't like about Højlund. He's quite frustrating to watch. Pickford, more like pick the ball out of the net. I love it. This chat is brilliant. I love it. In terms of best buys this week, let's have a look at some of the news that's come out. So we'll just go back to by the way, if you want a wild card draft this week, I made this one and I had 1.6 left in the bank and I have pretty good team value. But if you're lining up for game week 24 with the double there, then the 3 Liverpool players for me will be Alisson, Becker, Kanate and Mo Salah. I'd have Fabianski still in goal. Looks like, what's his name's going to continue playing him? Graham Potter. I was going to call him Harry Potter, but Graham Potter's going to continue playing him. Robinson, Hall, Molienko, Mikolenko. Where's Bob when you need him? He can tell us how to say his name. So Mikolenko's there in the defence with Kanate and Aina. Like Nottingham Forest, you just have the Nottingham Forest, man. There's such good form. It's ridiculous. Gibbs White is in here with Bruno Fernandes, Gordon, Salah and Palmer. My forward 8 in this particular draft is just stacked. And I've just taken the money out of the defence. Like, there's no need for the money in the defence, I don't think. So many good options at budget prices. I mean, Lewis Hall's up to 4.9 now. He's still a really good option, though. Like, if you haven't bought him, I bought him at 4.4, and this man is up to 4.6 selling price. He's definitely going to get to 5 million. He is, like, the next 4 weeks for Newcastle are amazing. If you were buying, you'd definitely be buying Hall for this game week. I really can't see Wolves scoring. The only problem is he is likely to blank in game week 29. So at the moment, the 3 players in my team, if I go back to my team really quickly, the players I'm likely to keep, so Fabianski will hopefully keep his place in goal, which means I then don't have to trade Becker out of my team, but I could if I wanted. I just don't want to really be wasting a transfer on a goalkeeper, so that's fine. Fabianski's covered. At the moment, it's going to be Tottenham versus Fulham that is blanking, so that means I've got Robinson. And then I've obviously got Crystal Palace against Newcastle, who are going to be blanking as well as things stand, which means I'd have Robinson, Hall and Isaac ruled out, which means I can actually still field a team without making any transfers. So that's why I haven't decided to make a move this week, because in reality, the player I want to get rid of is Colwill. Like, this dude has done nothing for me, and I don't know where I want to go. So get rid of Iwobi. You don't need him anymore. Like, I'd really love to get Aina in next week, but he costs 5.2 and I've got 5.1. But it's probably going to be Milinkovic. Like, Milinkovic looks really good. Look at that. 7.96666. This week, you wouldn't buy him for this week. Hello, Darren. How are you? Welcome to the chat. Make sure you sub if you haven't already subbed. Start 2 of João Pedro and Buemo and Diaz. You start Diaz, he's going to be starting from the... Actually, stuff that. You know what? Brian Buemo, if you always start the penalty takers. So in my mind, start Buemo, start João Pedro, bench Diaz. João Pedro is a strong likelihood not to be playing anyway. So in that case, you put Diaz first person on your bench. Benching problem solved. Hope that helps. So yeah, benching in terms of defenders, I don't want to be spending up. Like, Milinkovic just seems like a good option. 4.8. He's got good attacking threat from set pieces. I mean, if I have a look at him, he's like a Gabriel, but plays for Nottingham Forest. 0.15 expected goal involvement. Now, if I was a betting man and I really like the look of this man, I still like the look of him. Now, lots of people are talking about Munoz, right? Munoz up to 5.8% ownership. The only problem I've got is that, yes, he gets into very good positions. He has all these expected goals, like in terms of numbers. The dude can't finish. Like, I watched him live against Chelsea, and I watched the game against Bournemouth live on TV with Alan, and I watched that 0.5 5-1 expected chance, and I saw him get a chance against Bournemouth, and I'm telling you, the dude can't finish. If he had my left foot, he'd probably score, but he doesn't. So for me, I'm not sure that he's actually the best. If we have a look down for the season, he's got 2 goals, 2 assists, 0.19 expected goals per 90, 0.07 expected assists. I do like him. Like Mitchell, if you have a look, costs 0.1 more, but his assist potential is 0.13, 0.02. Now, he's got 3 assists for the season, so he's 1 attacking return down on Munoz. Costs 0.1 more, but he's also an option. The one that I really like the look of, who's played far less games, is actually Chalobah. Now, lots of people sitting there going, you are an absolute madman. And yes, I might be an absolute madman, but this dude has scored 1, 2, 3 goals this season. So he's got 3 goals. He's got 0.1 expected goals per 90, 0.03. He's made 5 points, 5 points less than Munoz this season, and he's played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, 8 games less than Munoz. This dude, I think, is highly underrated. I mean, Chelsea know that they're actually considering trying to recall him. Like, Maresca realises that Chalobah's actually a fantastic defender. Maybe they need to bring him back. Like, for me, that's just something to think about. And it's definitely something I've thought about, because 4.4 means I still save the money and I'm not wasting any money upgrading. I mean, it's pretty skimpy of me. In reality, I should just be upgrading him. But, like, I feel like the 0.7 could be quite handy. I'm just not 100% sure. Only because of the fact that we do have the assistant manager here somewhere. Here we go. Find out more. Let's have a look. Open link and tab. So they just announced the... All right, get rid of that. Everyone joins the second chance league this week, so make sure you're ready to go this week. Where is the... I thought they did the... Okay. Not sure where it is. They definitely announced the prices of the assistant manager. I'm not sure why I can't find it on here. It doesn't... I can't see anything about... I must be really just blind and maybe I can't see it. Hold on. I swear... Oh, no. Assistant manager. Sorry, my bad. Why does it keep coming up with this? My apologies. I thought this was going to show up. I don't know what's going on there. That's really bizarre. It doesn't say... Like, click on the assistant manager chip like it's saying... But it just takes you to whatever that is. So, whatever. So, we'll go back to the Premier League. Let's have a look at some of these press conferences. Sorry, I'm just going a little bit all over the shop there, so I'll tidy this up a little bit. Potential move, but it's risky. Start Gakpo over Palmer. My gut saying... I think Palmer's going to score, man. I don't think I could do it. Mateta and Richarlison available. Latest on... Oh, that's interesting. That makes Solanke a slightly less better option. Let's have a look. What else can we find here? Latest news. Mateta worried about news. I still can't see anything about the assistant manager prices. They're definitely here, though, because I remember seeing them. I've read them. And I thought, how is... One good question. I want to know how... What's his name? What do you call it? How Unai Emery, the bloke in charge of Aston Villa, how is he 0.8? How's he rated? Like, Aston Villa are like high on the table, aren't they? Hold on, correct me if I'm wrong. Open link in new tab. There we go. Sorry, I've got lots of tabs open. So, the way the manager chip's gone down, so Arnie Slot's worth 1.5, Arteta's worth 1.5, Maresca's worth 1.5, Eddie Howe's worth 1.5, and Pep Guardiola's worth 1.5. Now, Nottingham Forest, Nuno Espirito Santo, 1.1. Like, why is it not just 1? Like, why is it not 1 million? But 1.1. Areola's 1.1. Aston Villa, who are sitting in 8th, Unai Emery is worth 0.8. Like, how did that happen? I reckon whoever it is really wants to play it on Unai Emery and doesn't have the money for it, which is why he's 0.8. Makes zero sense to me why Unai Emery is 0.8. Marco Silva's 1.1, Hertzler's 1.1, Thomas Frank's 1.1, and old mate here, Ange Ball, he's 1.1. How is 1.1 here and Tottenham are in 12th? And Unai Emery is sitting there in 8th with Villa, and he costs 0.8. Explain that. How does that even work? So then, Man United, Unai Emery 0.8. What's his name? Glasner 0.8. I even think Wolves might be 0.8. And then it's Palace, Everton, Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton, who are 0.5. Now, at the moment, I can tell you that the teams that I would be most likely to play the assistant manager on are in this section of the table right here. Anyone above, I'm not really interested in playing it on, because I just don't think there's enough points on offer. That's my personal opinion. And I think at some point, Man United are going to hit a massive run of form, and they're going to smoke some of these teams above them. I just got a feeling. They need to sign a couple of players, and it'll be sweet. All right, have you seen the clip of Arteta after Newcastle United? Oh, yeah, I did. Mate, if you are complaining about a ball, and trust me, I've been there, I've done it. I've had games where I've shot 20 shots and scored 1 goal, and people taking the piss out of me for missing goals. I used to say it was the ball. Sometimes when you go, in Sunday League football, sometimes you do go to another ground and you play off a shit ball. But we're talking about professional footballers. Your manager cannot come out and start complaining about a ball. That is just stupid. It's absolutely pathetic. That's all I'll say on that. It's just poor. All right, so let's have a look at some of the news that's come in while the press conferences have been going in. So there has been a little bit to get through. There's obviously new players being signed, so you have to watch out for them. I don't know if there's anyone that's been signed that is relevant as of yet. Man City look like they're going to sign a defender and maybe a forward. I don't know if that's going to affect them, but at the moment, I don't think it is. Yeah. All right, I'm going to pull that out in a second. I've actually got a little PowerPoint to rattle through. Hopefully, that I did in the video, but I'm going to hopefully explain it a little bit better live. So I'm going to get into that in a second. FPL experts answer 10 quick questions. All right, nothing to watch there. Scout selections. The scout is just rubbish. Some of these things that they come in with. Look at this. Hold on. I'll pull this up. This is the scout selection for this week. It's absolute bollocks, the teams that they come up with. Gabriel against Tottenham. Are you kidding me? I mean, Tottenham are going to score a goal. By the way, is there any Isaac news? No, there hasn't been any Isaac news other than the fact that Eddie Howe said, there has been a little bit. I'll just quickly go back there in a second. So if we go down here, right at should be down the bottom somewhere. Right, bear with me. They were one of the first presses that came out. Arteta. All right, let's have a look. Moyes. Gabriel Jesus, so apparently it looks like an ACL, so if you've got Jesus, you probably need to get rid of him ASAP. In terms of Timber, it was exactly the same. We had a few players that were struggling to finish the game, but apparently it was just cramp, so I'm hoping that that's the case because I'm starting Timber at the moment. Lewis Dunk's okay. Igor's injured. Eddie Howe and Isaac. So this is what he had to say. We'll have a look at them again today. They were left out with genuine reasons, all different things, but nothing major, we hope. So minor problems that we need to settle down. Fingers crossed they'll be there or thereabouts. I would take that as talk for, yes, Isaac will be fine, Murphy will be fine, Botman will be fine, Willock will be fine. The only one that I would think that, Willock's not going to be starting the game anyway, so it's neither here nor there. Murphy's definitely the right starting player. And I think he would start. Apparently he went off of a calf, but tightness in his calf. And as I said, Isaac is a young man, quite young. I've actually pulled a hamstring, and I'm a forward, and I played on it 4 days later. So if he's just coming off as a precaution with awareness, I can't see how he does not play. But I wouldn't be captaining him. I think that if he does play, he's likely to play between 60 and 70 minutes. And as long as Newcastle are comfortably in front, they'll probably rest him the rest of the game. The only one I'd be concerned with there is Botman, because obviously they can play Shah with Dan Burn in the centre of defence. There's no need to be risking Botman. So for me, he'd be the only one I'd be concerned about out of those four. Yeah, well, if Man United don't win the Europa League, it's a criminal offence. The teams that are in that division this year are just rubbish. Yeah, the game schedule is actually pretty interesting for the season. João Pedro. So we have to see today he's training with the team, and then we can decide if we'll take the risk to play him against Ipswich. What's most important is how he feels. We don't do any stupid things. We have to wait until after the training session. Again, this is one of them ones that makes me think that he's going to be fine. But I feel like with an ankle, if you're having a scan on an ankle, there must be something there. And obviously, I think earlier in the season, João Pedro missed with an ankle, so it could be the case again. But I think I just told him and play him, and then just if he doesn't play, just make sure you got a decent bench option. But if he's playing, he'll start. So I think that's what I'd say to that. What's that about Harvey Barnes? He's had a scan, it's not too bad. He'll miss out. Well, that's good news. That means Anthony Gordon's minutes are going to increase because Harvey Barnes is the most logical replacement. It also looks good for Jacob Murphy's minutes. One less person to be coming on that is likely to take some minutes. Yeah, they could, but Barnes is injured. Eddie Howe, an injury to Harvey Barnes. He's had a scan. It's not too bad. He'll be missing the upcoming games. So Barnes is out. So I think we're likely to see Isaac, Gordon and Murphy continue starting, provided they are fit. Let's have a look what else is in this rabble of news here. I mean, Arsenal need a striker. If Arsenal signed a striker, I'd be tempted to bring him into my squad because they really need a striker. Any news here from Nuno, Danilo? Nothing there. Title race. We're here to compete against all the teams. I hope Nottingham Forest win the title. Beat the bin dippers, send them packing, give Trent a -2, get him sent off, and I'll be loving life. Neither would I. I'm literally just looking now. So bear with us while we have a look. Joe Gomez is quite far away. He's definitely not training with the team yet, and Darwin Núñez is suspended. So Diaz, if you own him, Amit, you've got Diaz, you'll be good. I'm not sure if United are holding their press conference today. I think they might be doing it tomorrow, but I'll have a look in a second. Thomas Frank talks Man City. Yeah, they're pretty good. Team news for Brentford. Rico Henry is available again. Norgard's back in. Janelt is back in. Okay. James and Lavia are okay for Bournemouth. We are very happy for both. They played 45 minutes. That means they'll probably likely start. That's good news, I think, for any Enzo owners. Lavia will start, which means that maybe, what's his name? Caicedo will start at right back, which means Enzo goes further forward. That could be actually really good for Chelsea as an attacking team. Just having Lavia back might actually be really good news. Van Linsen's obviously injured. You need to transfer him out. Who would you captain, Palmer or Salah? I'll be captaining... Palmer's got the easier fixture. Salah's got the better form. I think I'd probably go with... I think I'd actually... If it wasn't for Bruno Fernandes, I would captain Salah this week. I'll just put it there. That's what I'd be doing this week. What did Ange say? Well, we've had to do some extra recovery. Timo Werner picked up an injury. That's good, I suppose, for Tottenham assets that play on the left because he won't be getting picked. He got a hamstring. Richarlison, though, is available, so he'll probably come off the bench. So Dominic Solanke's minutes might actually start going down. Who knows? Spurs chances, nothing there. Brighton news. Jack Hinselwood will train. Cool. Ruta and Minter. All right, so they have to wait about them. See if they can train. Interesting. Wolf news. Semedo, Cunha and Dawson will be ready for the match. So Cunha will be fine. There you go. Do you see Spurs scoring? Hello, Vanif Daniel. To be honest with you, I think Spurs might score. Arsenal have had a habit recently of conceding 1 goal a game, which is highly frustrating. I mean, I have Julian Timber in my team, and that's highly frustrating. I wouldn't be doubling up on the Arsenal defence anymore. So if you have 2 of them, I'd be looking to get rid of one of them, if not both. I think their run of form coming up. Actually, we'll have a quick look at that in a second. Where's my... Whoops, sorry. Where am I going? Here we go. Run of form for Arsenal. Spurs at home, Villa at home, Wolves away, Man City at home. I mean, the next 4 games aren't fabulous for Arsenal. Let's put it that way. We're considering when they've been conceding 1 goal a game. Not sure if I like them too much. All right, back to the... Where are we? Prayer on improving Wolves' form and confidence. Yep, very nice. Crystal Palace news. The flu is gone, unfortunately, to all the players who were ill are available. Mateta is fine. That's good if you're a Mateta owner. Mitchell is fine. Lacroix is fine. Will Hughes is now available as well, which is bad news for Eze in terms of taking corners, because Will Hughes will take them now that he's back. Start Gabriel or Kirkes? I think I'd still start Gabriel. Better goal threat from Gabriel. Yeah, I know. I think I'd probably just play Gabriel in that case and bench Timber or move him on. That's what I would be doing. I think. Yeah. I mean, I haven't liked doubling up on defenses all season. Like everyone that knows my strategy knows that I've had a double defense for about 2 game weeks this season from the same team, and neither week it went well for me. They conceded twice and both got me like 0 points. So ever since then, I've had a strict policy of 7 different defenders across the goalkeepers and defensive line, and I always play 4 different teams in my defense and goalkeeper. It seems to be working okay, so I'll roll with it till it stops working. All right. Villa news: Torres, Powell, McGinn, and Barkley are not available. Ross is more 2-3 weeks ago. Okay. I'm interested to know whether Duran will start in this game or if Ollie Watkins will continue to start. I haven't really thought much of Ollie Watkins. I mean, Morgan Rogers looked amazing in the FA Cup against West Ham on Thursday or Friday night last week. He looked really good. So I'd be tempted to play Rogers if I owned him. If I owned any Villa assets at all. New manager David Moyes winning football matches. I mean, the problem with Everton is they don't score any goals, which is the problem. Like, they need to start scoring goals. They need to buy someone that can actually score a goal. Everton team news: Dominic Calvert-Lewin is trained. Dwight McNeil is not available. That's unfortunate. He'd be a really good option in double game week 24 if he was fit. A little bit of an ongoing knee issue. That's never good. Brozier is going for another scan. Doesn't look good for Everton. Fulham news: Reece Nelson's recovering. January will be quiet. Need to get back to winning ways. Yes, 1-0 win with an Anthony Robinson goal or assist will be amazing. Potter on West Ham selection issues. What does he say here? Here we go. Somerville, it's a minor one. Probably a bit precautionary. Emerson made good progress. He's been training. Tabito's just still with the physio. Mavropanos has no problem. He's trained the last. All right, so West Ham look pretty good from a defensive standpoint. I reckon Potter will get them going. Attacking absences, though, is a problem. So it's really down to Kudos to score the goals. So, I mean, he's a good option if that's what it is. I don't think they were going to hear any more press conference. I think that's it for today. It is. So if we quickly go to the scout team, I mean, it's not a bad lineup, other than the fact that I just don't think the defence is correct. I wouldn't be playing Pickford against Aston Villa at home. I mean, there is definitely a better goalkeeper selection this week. Like, why would you just not pick Onana in goal, who's got Southampton? It makes no sense. And Gabriel, that could easily be a Maguire against Southampton this week as well. I reckon Rogers scores and gets an assist against that. He very well could do. I'm scared from defence. Tottenham attack, so I'm pretty... That's the problem with Tottenham. Arsenal's defensive data is so good, but they've just been disappointing. They've been super underwhelming this season. In terms of, like... I've only owned 2 Spurs assets this season. I had Kulusevski at the start of the season for 3 or 4 weeks, and then I got rid of him. And then I bought in Dominic Solanke for that Ipswich game, and then I transferred him straight back out on wildcard. I think that's all I have to say about Tottenham assets. I just don't like them. And I mean, James Maddison looks amazing, but Ange definitely does not like Maddison. He even doesn't like the fact that he likes the darts. There's something there that he does not like at all. All right, so I'm going to quickly we're going to go into the Squids predictions. Squids predictions time. Actually, we'll do Squids predictions in like 20 minutes. We'll do it at 1:30 a.m. Sorry, that will be 5:30 p.m. in the UK. Squids predictions at 5:30. If you're wanting to put a bet on the games this weekend, Squids predictions, they're going to be phoned in at 5:30. I'm going to work them out. I actually don't even know what the fixtures are this week. other than the fact that, I paid attention. But we are going to have a quick look at the chip strategy that I'm talking about that I think is what we should be doing. So this is what you definitely need to be thinking about. Hopefully this works and it just transfers straight over. Let's have a look. And boom. All right, there we go. So you should hopefully have something that looks exactly like the top of this screen. So you should have bench boost. You should have triple captain. You should have wild card, your second wild card still. And you should have your free hit. Now, obviously the things you do have to factor in are the Emirates FA Cup and Carabao Cup. Now the good news is, if you have Arsenal players, you will not have to worry about Arsenal blanking this season. They are going to be playing, actually you do have to worry about them slightly blanking in game week 29 because, they could overturn the Newcastle game. I just can't see it. I don't think they will be doing that. I think it's safe to say it will be Newcastle versus either Tottenham or Liverpool. Which means if that happens, the Arsenal are actually really good assets to have all the way through to the end of the season because they'll be playing every single week. They won't be blanking. So the assets from that perspective are nice. However, that also means that they won't be doubling up. So you won't be able to play them in double game weeks, which is why you probably don't want to invest heavily in them. But it is good for the weeks where there are going to be blanks. Arsenal are going to be one of them teams you can target. So in free hit, at the moment, we know that in blank game week 34, which is definitely going to be for the FA Cup semi-finals, of which one team that won't be playing, in fact, two teams that won't be playing, that will be playing in those weeks, oh my God, I'm confusing everyone now, are Brentford, because they've already been knocked out of the FA Cup, West Ham, who have already been knocked out of the FA Cup, and Arsenal, who have already been knocked out of the FA Cup. So that's something you need to be really keeping in mind. Now, if we have a look at what you should be doing, this is what I think you should be doing. Okay, it's not going to play. There we go. I don't know what. It was just having a little bit of a lag on me. So the FA Cup will cause the blank game week 34 games, which is what you need to be doing. I'm thinking about Isaac, but I'm just waiting. Yeah, I wouldn't be captaining Isaac this week. If you have Bruno Fernandes, he is who I'm captaining this week in my team. I have Mo Salah as vice captain. Cole Palmer, I've got down as number 3. If you owned Erling Haaland, and I don't own I don't own Erling Haaland. I actually think that Erling Haaland would be the best captaincy decision outside of Bruno Fernandes this week, if I owned him. But I don't, which is why I have him down at number 5, because I don't own him. And I own the other 4. Isaac comes in at number 3. I've got Cole Palmer in number 4. Isaac would potentially be higher, but I'm just worried that, he does score. They take an easy lead against Wolves, and then all of a sudden he's on the bench. So I could definitely foresee that happening. The Carabao Cup will cause a small blank in game week 29, so that's something you need to be aware of. At the moment, Newcastle versus Crystal Palace won't be going ahead, which is why I haven't bought in Crystal Palace assets. All good, man. Cheers. Thank you. And yes, no problem at all. Again, if you are interested in joining the group chat, the link is in the description. Just hit that link up. We will accept you. I've got a couple of admins in there and myself. We don't want any... by the way, we've just had some breaking news from Simon in the group chat, and that is that Gabriel Jesus has torn his ACL and his season is over, confirmed. So if you... And it looks like Mikel Arteta also confirmed that Arsenal are looking in the market to bring in a new player to replace him. There we go. Amit with some news. Isaac not playing? Well, look, as I said, Isaac for me, if he doesn't play, I'm very happy with. I've got Chris Wood in my team. I think he looks really good. Now, really quickly, this is what you should be doing. So, this is my opinion. This is what I'm going to be doing. So, at the moment, triple captain is going to be going ahead for me in double game week 24, which is when the double for Liverpool and Everton will take place. And the other game for Liverpool in that game is Bournemouth. Now, unfortunately, both those games are away. Not quite as enticing as game week 25, which would have been Wolves at home. But alas, Mo Salah playing 2 games in a game week is probably the best you're going to get in terms of the teams and the quality of teams he's playing. Realistically, all he has to do is get over 10 points and you're going to be pretty happy, I think. I mean, realistically, I'm hoping for 20, but that's just being a little bit greedy. But if he gets something around 17, 18, I think that's pretty happy. I'll be pretty happy with that. So for me, I'm going to be playing it there. I mean, you could save it for double game weeks 33 and 36. I just don't think you want to be playing that when you could potentially be playing your bench boost and your assistant manager over them, and you don't want to be playing your assistant manager in game week 24. The table bonus just isn't there for me. Like, I want to be playing it on a double game week on a team that's 5 places below and then just smashing the shit out of it and hoping that it works. Because, it's 2 goes in 1 game week. I mean, if for example, if you pick Crystal Palace and they were playing, let's say, Brentford, who are 5 places above them, and Brighton, and they beat them both in that 1 game week, well, that's 32 points straight from 2 wins. So that's why it's such a really good... It's better to play it in either one of those 2. And at the moment, Crystal Palace are on track for a double game week 33, and it'll be against Newcastle, and I can't remember the other team off the top of my head. But yeah, so that's just when I'll be doing it. Wildcard's a little bit more subjective. Now, sometimes if your team's in a state and you just need to transfer it because you've got bulk injuries or whatever, there's nothing wrong with playing it before game week 30 and just adjusting your team so you aren't hurt massively by the blank game week in 29. However, if you're clever, you can hold off doing that and then really wildcard your squad for game week 30 to attack the double fixtures that are likely to happen between game week 33 and 36 when there's going to be the doubles. That's what you want to set your wildcard team up for in game week 34. And then you can play your assistant manager and your bench boost over those weeks as well to maximise it. And then in your free hit, it's going to be good because I think you're going to have quite a few decent teams to pick players from. I mean, West Ham already confirmed playing in game week 34. Brentford already confirmed playing, and Arsenal already confirmed playing. That's 3 decent teams already you can pick players from for that blank game week if you use your free hit then, which is when I'm going to be using it. Last year I played it on the massive week where lots of teams weren't playing, and it didn't really work out very well. I picked a bunch of dub players that just did nothing, and I got like a super low score, but so did pretty much everyone else. But yeah, it is just one of them ones. Free hit definitely for me. Game week 34, that's when I'll be playing it. I mean, the only other time I consider playing a free hit that wasn't game week 34 is the last week of the season. Now, the last week of the season throws up some absolute mares in terms of players that don't play because they're resting for cup games and all this nonsense. Sometimes the last game of the season is a really good time to play it because then you can just pick a team that you think's likely to play. But yeah, so that's what I'd say on that one. Bench boost, again, double game week 33 or 36 is when you should be playing it. I mean, I've had a team pretty much that I could have played it in most of the last few weeks, and it's perfectly fine to play it in a single game week because of the fact that, if you've got a good bench like I pretty much have had for most of this season, you can pretty much play it any week. I've had so many points left on my bench this week. It's crazy. And then the assistant manager one, that is where you really need to be targeting those teams rated five places and below on that. All right, so without that, let's get back into what we're looking at. So the best buys this week, let's have a look at who the best buys are this week. So, I've got so many of these same pages open. Let's get into that. So defense this week, the best defenders to buy this week, I think definitely Lewis Hall is number 1. He's just got a nice little run of fixtures coming up. Wolves at home, Bournemouth at home, Southampton away, Fulham at home. The next 4 are amazing. If you're buying now, you do kind of need to be concerned about blank game week 29, but I wouldn't be too concerned about it. That would put me off bringing him in. You'd still get, if you brought him in this week, 8 good weeks from Lewis Hall before you have to move him on. Or you just hold him, depending on your team value. At the moment, I'm going to be holding him in my team 100%. Now, I think realistically this week, there aren't many good options from a defensive standpoint to bring in. But you should probably look, the Palace assets are obviously, Munoz is definitely up there for this week as a good buy for a defender. Really good data. The points haven't really been there. If you have a look at since game week 13 to 15, he had a purple patch. 2 goals in 3 weeks, clean sheet in the other. But outside of that, Crystal Palace have been doing a good job of conceding the odd goal here and there, and that's been highly frustrating. So, I don't know. I just think, but with Chalobah, who's now back in the team, he'll be available this week. Him with Gahey, or Gahey, however you say his name, they just both look really good assets. And defensively, they make Crystal Palace so much better. If you have a look at the defensive data when Chalobah's been in the team, it's been much better than when he hasn't been in the team. So if we go back to the start of the season, you can see there he didn't play the first 6 games of the season, and I'm pretty sure Gahey did. Let's have a look. Gahey did. Yeah, he played the first 6 games of the season. Let's have a look. 1.59, 1.39, 2.27, 1.23, 1.7, 0.89. Since Chalobah came in, the defensive data for Crystal Palace has definitely improved, which probably tells me that if Chalobah's available, he'll be playing. And, I mean, the dude's got pretty good attacking threat, and he's only costing 4.4. So if you are wanting to save some money, it's 0.3. It might not make the most amount of sense to be skimping out on 0.3, but Chalobah's defensive data has actually been a lot better, and his attacking output's not that bad. I mean, you're talking about 0.1 expected goals per 90, 0.03 expected assists per 90, compared to Munoz for 0.3 more, giving you 0. I mean, it's almost double, in fairness, 0.19 expected goals per 90 and 0.07. But Chalobah's scored more goals than Munoz from almost half the data from an attacking sense than Munoz. And the reason why is because Munoz is not a very good finisher. As I said earlier, the dude hasn't been very good defensively. Now, if you're doing some forward planning, I mean, lots of talk about Everton going in and buying a left back. Like, is there though? I mean, like, this dude's played 90 minutes every week since game week 8. I mean, Everton's defensive data has actually been pretty decent. I don't understand why they would want to get him out of the team. I mean, I'm not an Everton fan, so I don't really watch their games because they're pretty damn boring because I don't score many goals. So if there's a different game on, I'm not watching Everton. But if you're forward planning that double game week there, Liverpool and Leicester, 24-25, I mean, the Leicester at home, you'd expect Everton to keep a clean sheet against them, and there's just going to be maybe 1 or 2 points against Liverpool on top extra. I mean, the only problem with Milienko is he used to have really good, I feel like he used to have really good attacking data, but this season it's just been not there. 0.04 expected assists per 90, 0.02 expected goals. I mean, in reality, it's actually been Ashley Young this season who's been much better. 4.7, 0.09 expected goals per 90. So literally double what Mikalenko's been offering. But the dude's like 40 years old. How much longer can he realistically keep that up for? I'm not sure. Dan Burns also, I wouldn't say he's a good shout anymore because of the fact that Botman's back. I mean, if you really wanted to be cheeky, you could get a Man United defender this week. I mean, their run of fixtures is actually not too bad for the time being. Like, if we have a look at Mazraoui, yes, there's a lot of 90 minutes in a row there with just 1 point where they've conceded 2 goals and 3. I mean, that doesn't quite tell the story. I mean, if we look at that Wolves game, 2 goals conceded from 0.86 expected goals conceded. They have been unlucky, but I mean, the fixtures are getting nicer now. Like Southampton at home, you would expect Mazraoui and Man United to keep them out. Brighton at home, I don't see Brighton scoring more than 1. Fulham away, I can't see them scoring more than 1. Palace at home, I think they'll keep Palace out. And then the important weeks, game week 27, Ipswich at home, and then the really important one, blank game week 29. Man United have Leicester away. I mean, it's not the worst run of fixtures in the world. So I don't mind him as an option. Other than that, I'm not really too sure where else. Like the defenders this week, there aren't many good options this week because that Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest game really rules out all those assets. Like, you wouldn't be buying them for this week, but if you're buying for next week onwards, Murillo becomes an option. 4.6, 0.06 and 0.04 expected per 90 goals and assists. Milenkovic is probably better, paying up 0.1 more, 0.2 more. This dude gives you 0.15 expected goals per 90. In comparison to Gabriel is 0.14 expected goals per 90. So Milenkovic actually has more goal threat than Gabriel. And he costs you 1.6 million less. I know who I'd be going with. Nottingham Forest as well. Have a look at the goals expected to be conceded. Like, it's normally under 1 every single week. And when it hasn't been, those have been the weeks where they've had a few blowouts where they've conceded 3 or 2 goals. I mean, they had a run here between Newcastle, Arsenal, Ipswich, Man City, Man United, where they conceded 11 goals over 5 weeks. It's been their worst run all season. The only other time they've conceded twice was against Brighton in game week 5. So that tells you how good the Nottingham Forest defence is. Liverpool, obviously, a pretty good team. I'm not sure if they're... Yeah, I'm just not sure if they're going to keep them out or not. So I wouldn't be buying there this week. It's the same with Liverpool. I wouldn't be buying there this week either. I mean, they've got Nottingham Forest away. Then they've got Brentford away. Like, again, these next 2 weeks, I'm not sold on having an extra Liverpool defender. I've got Alisson in goal. I mean, in reality, Fabianski could actually be a better pick than Alisson this week with Fulham at home. I don't know. I mean, like, Fabianski came straight back in once he was cleared with that head injury. So, you know, it could be one of them ones. I mean, the most pressing concerns in my team is trying to work out how I bench out of Timber, Kirkes and Colwill. The fact that I'm playing Palmer and Jackson means that Kirkes is on the bench. I'm expecting Chelsea to score. Will Bournemouth score now, though? They've lost to Valenson. They've lost some other bloke, the Igor or whatever his name was. I can't remember pronounce his name, so I'm not even going to bother trying. But, I mean, Colwill could potentially play there instead of Timber. I mean, Robinson away at West Ham. I just can't see West Ham scoring any goals. Like, Kudos is all they've got with Paquetá. Is that good enough to beat the Fulham defence that have been playing 5 men at the back? I'm not sure it is, you know. And then obviously Hall's the definite starter. I don't have to think about that one. And then I'm backing in the Arsenal defence against Tottenham. Like, Tottenham is so unpredictable. They could show up and do nothing. Martinez or Dubravka, I'm stuck. Diaz the GOAT. Hello, Diaz. How are you? Give us a sub if you're new. Dubravka or Martinez, I think I'd be starting Dubravka. I mean, both teams... Actually, no, can that. You've got Martinez playing against Everton. I mean, Everton could get the new manager pounds. I just can't see him scoring goals. So that makes you think Martinez is a better pick. But Aston Villa also have a habit, a bit like Chelsea, of conceding the odd goal. And Newcastle's dated the last 5 weeks. With Dubravka in goal, ironically. So since game week 15, where they did concede 3 against Brentford, 0.19, 0.71, 0.34, 0.90, 0.95. I think I'd actually start Dubravka. I think I answered your question for you. Dubravka for me, I think. Just. Not by much. Just. Right, to the midfielders. So I'm actually, other than Foden and Colwill, I don't really have too many problems with my team. I mean, Nicholas Jackson's, everyone says he's a problem. I'm not convinced he is a problem. Well, there you go. If Martinez is flagged, I think I know where I'm going. Definitely Dubravka. All good, buddy. No problems at all. But yeah, I'm not selling Jackson now. Let's have a look at what people have been doing. So let's go to the forwards. I'm going to come to the midfielders last because that's the place where there is a lot of debate about where you should go, what you should do. Now, Haaland has overtaken the lead at the top, back up to 123 points, leads all forwards now, has been in improved form, but I just can't justify any way that you can spend 14.8 million of your budget still to bring him in. I think if he was 14 mil, he could be then a little bit more tempting. I just can't see it myself. I mean, in reality though, if you look at the fixtures, the next 2 weeks are looking nice. I wouldn't back against him not scoring a hat-trick over the next 2 weeks, to be fair. It'd be quite possible. But then I don't think I'd want him between game week 23 and game week 27. I think both of them, between those 4 fixtures, I don't think I'd want him. But then, from game week 29 or 30, realistically it's going to be 30. That's when I'm going to play my wild card. Leicester at home, Man United away, Crystal Palace at home, Everton away, Aston Villa at home, Wolves at home, Southampton away, Bournemouth at home, Fulham away. If Man City get going on a run, Haaland, and as I've already currently got in my team, Phil Foden, could become really good options at the back end of the season. Now, I've ridden my luck a little bit with Phil Foden the last couple of weeks, but I wouldn't be going on Haaland now. I think you just let it go the next 2 weeks and then wait till game week 30 when you're wild card, and then potentially look at bringing him back in if your team value can afford it. If you don't have to sacrifice too many other things, maybe you bring him in. Cunha's obviously back from suspension. He's not an option though. I mean, the Wolves run from here just does not look very appealing at all. I mean, the next 5 weeks there, Newcastle, Chelsea, Arsenal, Villa, Liverpool. Game week 26 onwards though, Cunha could definitely be a viable option to come back in till the end of the season. Like, Wolves run from then does become a boatload better. Definitely something I'm considering. I mean, I've pretty much been yo-yoing between Chris Wood and Cunha most of the season. It might be that Chris Wood, he's got a really nice run of fixtures up until game week 25. In game week 26, when it becomes a bit harder, it may well be, depending on what kind of form Forrest are in at this point, by the way, and what kind of form Chris Wood is in. Game week 26, I may just swap him back to Cunha and then play him the rest of the season. Or Chris Wood can come back in 34, but in reality, I think I'm going to be swapping there. Now, Nicholas Jackson, people sit there. The dude is still rated the 5th best forward in the game. And he has had the 7 weeks of crap, pretty much. Like, I'm not lying. Since game week 14, it's been pretty hard to watch as an FPL owner. And I've owned him since game week 12. But I did have the 12. I had the 6. And then I had the benching. And I was like, oh, here we go. Tottenham game was disappointing. Scored against Brentford. And then since then, the last 4 weeks have been highly frustrating. But I watched him live in the Palace game. Like, I was there with Alan. We watched him. And I'm telling you, he was unlucky not to score. Like, he just needs to work on his finishing. I think if he gets one, he'll get on another run. So I'm not overly concerned about him. And like, the options are, look at the options. I'm even going on a Wissa, who's not got a good fixture this week. Actually, hasn't arguably not got a good fixture for the next 4 weeks. So don't really want to go there. Raul Jimenez. Yes, he's got 22 points the last 2 weeks. Very nice work. Easier fixtures. West Ham, Leicester to come. But then it gets a fair bit harder for Fulham assets from an attacking perspective. I'm not sure he's the player I want. And then look at the end of that season. I mean, that's just too many transfers, I think, going to be used on him. Solanke. Tough fixture this week. Then he's got Everton, Leicester, Brentford, Man United, Ipswich, Man City, Bournemouth, Fulham. I mean, it's not the worst run of fixtures in the world. I mean, for Spurs in general, they don't really have a run of bad fixtures. You could definitely go there. I just look back to this game, and this game sums up Tottenham and Solanke for me. This Ipswich game here, in game week 11, when I had him in my team, and I thought, here come the big points, and the dude and Tottenham stunk the place up. I mean, I think Ange gets sacked, he might become a bit better. Hassan Madar. Should go Wood, João Pedro, Ahmad, or Dibbling, Wood, and Gabco, and PL343, M, or Wildcard. Oh, okay. All right, let me read that a bit quick better. Should I go Wood, João Pedro, Ahmad, or Dibbling, Wood, and Gapco? Depends. Yeah, I definitely have João Pedro, penalty taker. See, João Pedro compared to Gapco, I feel like João Pedro is still the better option. Yes, Gapco's playing every game week, but I'm not convinced. And I wouldn't... Dibbling versus Ahmad, Ahmad's such a better pick. I mean, yes, Dibbling scored in the FA Cup, but it's Southampton. They're not going to be scoring many goals. I mean, this week alone, we're probably going to see Dibbling get massively outscored by Ahmad. So, if the real question is whether you want Gapco or João Pedro, I think you could even make a compromise. You could even probably go like a Raul Jimenez would be better than a Gapco. João Pedro is probably better. Wissa's probably better. What's Gapco? Gapco's up to 7.4. No, he's definitely not worth 7.4. I mean, he's been good, but he hasn't been that good. I mean, Mateta's probably arguably... Not many people are keen on Mateta. And I watched Mateta live in that Palace versus Chelsea game, and I wasn't overly convinced of what I saw either. I mean, he's only scored twice since game week 9. Like, he hasn't been banging them in. He's been playing 90 minutes every week. But he's one of them players, if he gets on a run of form, he will bang the goals in. And like the run of fixtures for Palace, I mean, it looks pretty damn good. Like, it's hard not to lie. It looks pretty damn good. Yeah, you could do Ahmad, Gapco, and Pedro. I just think Wood's better than Gapco. I mean, like, I just think there's so many other better options. I would even say Mateta, in theory, should be better than Gapco as well. I'm just not sold on him. I feel like when I get my third Liverpool player, it's definitely going to be a defender. I want someone that's guaranteed to be playing for 90 minutes, I suppose. I don't think there's any other options. Watkins isn't an option. Duran's not an option. Delap is not an option with the fixtures coming up, even though he's been pretty good of late. I mean, he's been very good of late. Strand Larson, he'll be struggling now that Cunha's back and available. And Valence is obviously out injured. Vardy, he's got an okay run the next couple. But again, not an option I'd be going with. I feel like if you're looking at expensive forwards, I have it as Jackson, Solanke, Wood, Mateta, Gapco in that order, followed by Havertz if you're desperate. That's what I'd say to that. And then the midfielders. So midfielders this week, let's have a look at the midfielders. Look, I obviously have, like, Brian Mbeumo looks good. And lots of people obviously bringing him back on the based on the fact he scored 19 points. Like, he hasn't got Southampton this week. He's got Man City and Liverpool. I just can't see him. I just can't see him returning that much this week. Is my honest answer to that. Don't really see it. I feel like he's definitely a player I want to bring back in game week 25. Like, game week 25 is the magical number. Brentford are definitely playing against Bournemouth in game week 29 as well, which makes that look pretty good. It is an away fixture. I mean, a lot of these good-looking fixtures are actually away, but they did tear Southampton apart, and they do finish with, look at that finish to the season. Ipswich, Fulham, Wolves. It's a pretty good run of fixtures to finish the season with as well for Brian Mbeumo, so I don't mind it. I just think there's slightly better options. Anthony Gordon is definitely the player that I wish I had, but when I look at my team this week, I think I'm actually pretty happy with my team. Like, I don't actually think I'd trade any of my midfielders this week for Anthony Gordon. Like, he's got Wolves at home this week, Bournemouth at home, Southampton away, Fulham at home. I have a look at Man United's next fixtures, which is where I'm looking at, because realistically, I'd like to bring Gordon in for Ahmad. But the next 4 weeks for Man United look pretty good as well. I mean, Southampton, Brighton, Fulham, Palace. There isn't too much difference. They've both got Southampton. Newcastle obviously in better form. And obviously I've got Bruno. I've got the double up, but I don't mind it. The next 4 weeks, it looks okay on paper. And realistically, next week, Ahmad's probably going to be dropping on the bench anyway, because I'm going to have Nicholas Jackson against Wolves, Isaac against Bournemouth, and Wood against Southampton. I mean, it's a pretty good... My team is actually set up pretty nicely for me to roll this week. Even the defence, yes, I could probably make a defensive transfer, but do I really want to bring in a Palace asset that is likely to blank in game week 29? I'm not sure I do. I don't think I really want to be wasting 2 transfers on defenders that realistically are just going to be rotating on the bench anyway. All right, so Gapco for the double game week. Yeah, if you wanted to make that your third Liverpool player, 100%, you could go there. I'm still trying to work out what I'm going to do with my third place for Liverpool. But I want to see what happens the next couple of weeks. In reality, if we have a look at their numbers, they've obviously got Bournemouth and Everton. They're both away fixtures. Are Liverpool actually going to keep 2 clean sheets? I don't think the answer is yes. So it therefore makes more sense to bring in a third attacker. I would agree. A third player that's one of their attackers. Now, the one that I really like, though, is on this list, but he probably needs to get fit over the next few weeks. The good news is there is a few weeks for him to get fit. Now, Diogo Jota just looks good. Like, I had him at the start of the season. This dude was good at the start of the season. Got me a bunch of points. So did Luis Diaz at the start of the season. I personally think that that's where I would like to go. Whether his body allows me to do it is a different kettle of fish entirely. But if you're after someone that's definitely going to start, it's probably Cody Gapco. Yeah, I did think about Canade as well. I'm just not convinced on Liverpool defensively. Like, I saw them against Man United, and Man United haven't been the best attacking wise, and they tore Liverpool apart in some moments in that game. Eze's another player I really like in midfield as well. I have him rated far higher than Sarr. I don't know why lots of other content creators are banging on about Sarr all the time. For me, Eze's a far better pick. And if I was to get a Crystal Palace asset in my midfield, it would definitely be Eze. I think he's a far better pick. And one person, if you are chasing a bit of value, where is he? I'm going to find him. Now, Garnacho is an interesting one to monitor, by the way. Next couple of weeks, he was back in the lineup from the start against Arsenal. Could be worth a shout. 6 million. He's dropped 0.5 million from his starting price. Makes him slightly more attractive. Gibbs White, though, he has been super good of late. I mean, since he came back from injury, he's been immense for Nottingham Forest. Hello, Jonas. Start Semenyo or Solanke? I would start Solanke. Oh, no, he's not on penalties. That's Son. All right. Shit, I've missed a couple of questions here. Actually, no, I don't think Bournemouth are going to score. So I'm still playing Solanke against Arsenal's defence. I'm desperate for a differential. -4 on Son to Bruno. And I'm going to captain Bruno. Am I mad? No, you're not mad. UK House Tom C FC. Make sure you press the sub. I can tell you that I'm captaining Bruno in my own team. So you are not mad. I had a dream as well that Phil Foden scored twice tonight and Bruno Fernandes scored twice against Southampton. Maybe that's why I'm doing it. I'm not sure. But I'm backing it in. Bruno Fernandes for me all day long. In fact, if anything, if you want the best buy this week, it is actually Bruno Fernandes. Now, I mentioned this earlier in the stream, but if you have a look at the fixtures coming up, just have a look at game week 29 when there's going to be a few teams blanking. Leicester away. If you want to have a look a little bit further ahead in, blank game week 34, obviously it's Bournemouth. If Man United don't actually make it, Man United could easily make the semi-finals. We obviously knocked out Arsenal on the weekend, so there's every chance we could. Yeah, 100%. Is it worth bringing Gordon from -4 for Semenyo? Depends what your other transfer is. I think that's the key. If your other transfer is like a move that, like, it just depends. If Semenyo is going to be starting on your bench, or is... Oh, no, hold on. Yeah, so you got João Pedro on field, Semenyo on the bench. If it's just to improve your bench, it's not worth the -4. Like, is Anthony Gordon really going to outscore João Pedro by 4 points? I'm not sure. Morris. Hello. Semenyo to Eze, Sarr, Gordon already missed the price change. Well, that's unfortunate. Still got the money to do it, or roll and play Rodgers. Well, that's a really hard question. That's a really good question, Morris. I'm assuming this is a free transfer. Semenyo to Eze. Let's have a look at his data. That's the best way. I love looking at these things just to see what I think. So Semenyo's been okay the last 4 weeks. A goal and an assist in the last 4. 0.24, 0.45. He's been involved from an attacking perspective quite nicely. Obviously, Noah Vanlinson, I think, hurts the Bournemouth attack. I mean, Semenyo can play as a number 9. I just don't think... He loves a shot, but his shots are quite low percentage in general. Chelsea are probably going to concede, I think, but probably only a goal. So that limits the points there. In terms of Gordon, he's 100% going to play. Eddie Howe said earlier today that Harvey Barnes is out injured. So that means Gordon's minutes looks brilliant. Oh, brilliant. You've got 2 free transfers. I wish I had 2 as well. I've only got 1. I'm probably going to roll. Anthony Gordon, 0.67, 0.46, 0.29, 0.92. His is pretty much on a par with Semenyo the last few weeks, and he's played less minutes. And he's got the Wolves at home fixture. I don't think Wolves is going to be as easy, though, as everyone thinks. So I wouldn't be expecting a massive return. It could just be another single-digit, but a single-digit return. It could be an assist or a goal, and then maybe no bonus, and it's like a 9 or 8 pointer. The fact that you missed the price rise and he's 7.6 makes me think that he's no longer the best option. And then it's Sarr or Eze. Now, for me, Eze's far better than Sarr. Sarr's numbers have been okay, 0.1, 0.95, 0.04. But if you have a look at Sarr's season, he's returned 4 times this season. So it was back in game week 4, Leicester, he got an assist. Aston Villa, he got a goal and assist. Brighton, he obviously popped off for 2 goals and assist. And Arsenal, but that's 4 games out of 20 this season that he's returned in. That doesn't fill me with great confidence. Whereas if you have a look at... Where's Eze? I don't think he fills me with great confidence either. But I feel like he's been injured a fair bit, which is why he has... But let's have a look at Eze. Sorry. So Eze's returned in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, he's returned in 5 games instead of 4. I mean, Palace haven't been the best this season. The numbers suggest that Sar's a better pick, but when I watched Palace against Chelsea live in person, I thought Eze was a far better pick. And I watched the Bournemouth game against them as well, and I thought, again, Eze was a better pick there. Yeah, true. 0.1 won't make any difference. I agree. Well, realistically, of those options, Gordon is the best. If I had to pick from those 3, I'd be picking Gordon all day long. They're all likely to blank as well in game week 29 because it's Palace versus Newcastle. So if the 0.1 doesn't make any difference, I'd lock in Anthony Gordon, 100%. But I mean, Semenyo's he's not a bad keeper if it enables you to do other things in your team. I mean, I've still got Ahmad in my team to allow me to have a Phil Foden sitting in my midfield along with Bruno, Salah and Palmer. So, I don't know. It's just, it's what works for you, whether you think it makes the rest of your team better. I suppose that's the best advice I can give. All right, so on to Squid's predictions. I almost missed it. I was meant to do this a little bit while ago. So we are going to have a quick look at what I think is going to happen this week. So Premier League fixtures, we have 4 games tonight, which I'll be watching at 4 a.m. Sorry, what am I on about? No, even earlier, 3:30 a.m. So we have Man City against Brentford. I'm expecting this to be an absolute goal fest. I reckon Man City are going to win this 4 goals to 2. I reckon Phil Foden's going to get a brace. Erling Haaland's going to get a brace. Brian Mbeumo's going to get 1, and then some random other person for Brentford will score. Yeah, they are. Bournemouth's fixtures aren't the best moving forward, that's for sure. Chelsea against Bournemouth is also on at 3:30. I'm expecting Chelsea to return to winning ways here. I'm expecting them probably to win 3 goals to 1. I reckon Nicholas Jackson might find his way onto the scoring sheet today. Yeah, I don't see a lot of clean sheets here, let's put it that way. West Ham against Fulham, I think that's likely to be a 1-1 draw. I just got a bad feeling that both teams are going to score and just blank. And it's going to be just 2 no-names. It might be Paqueta. Paqueta might score again for West Ham. Fulham, I don't think Raul's going to score. I'm hoping that, this could be the week the Iwobi finally gets a return because he's been well overdue. Maybe him. Nottingham Forest against Liverpool. I could see this finishing 0-0. But I'm hoping it doesn't because I've only got Alisson. Lots of people have got Forest and Liverpool assets. But yeah, I'm going to go with 0-0. I've got a sneaky suspicion that's going to be a crap game of football. Wednesday. This should be Wednesday's games. It's Thursday over here because I'm in Australia. Everton against Villa. I think that Villa probably win that 2 goals to 1. Leicester against Crystal Palace. Squid said that Crystal Palace are a shoo-in. 2-0. Crystal Palace are going to keep a clean sheet. No. I mean, I'm in Australia now. I'm back in Australia. So back in Kalgoorlie. I've literally travelled. I left the UK at 9:30 p.m. on Sunday night after I watched Arsenal versus Man United on the train, and I was loving it. I think everyone on the train to Heathrow knew that Man United had won on penalties because I went Joshua Zirkzee and I turned around the train and went... It was brilliant. Train didn't love it, but I loved it. So where are we? Leicester, Palace 2-0. I think Wolves will definitely account for nothing, and I think Newcastle win this to 0. I reckon they'll win 3-0. Isaac double, maybe a Gordon goal, Murphy to get an assist or so, and then maybe a Hall assist as well would be nice. Arsenal against Spurs, this game I've got no read on at all. I'm just going to go with 1-1. I feel like both teams are going to score. They've both been crap recently. Yeah, but I think somehow it'll be 1-1. And then on Thursday night, the Friday night games, Friday morning games here in Australia, 3:30. Ipswich against Brighton. I think Brighton, actually, I've got a sneaky suspicion Ipswich might win this game. I'm going to go with 2-1 Ipswich. And then Man United against Southampton. Realistically, look, all Man United fans, including me, think that we are potentially a good chance to win this 5 or 6-0. I mean, it could, in theory, happen. Realistically, is it going to be 5 or 6-0? No. But Manchester United will win. Bruno Fernandes will return as my captain. And Ahmad will also get some sort of a return. You heard it here first. So yeah, that's Squid's predictions for this week. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's a really short turnaround as well. So obviously, there is the last games are on Thursday night, and then we have another deadline on Saturday. And so that'll be an interesting stream. Lots to learn over the next week. I mean, it is super cold in the UK this week as well, which means we're going to get a lot more muscle injuries. So rolling the transfers is probably the best strategy if you've got it. So at the moment, I will not be making any transfers at all. I'm going to roll 0.6 in the bank. I've watched a bunch of minor price rises, minor price decreases. I mean, if we have a look at FPL really quickly, I mean, this is why I don't like Fantasy Football Hub. It's full of absolute crap. Like, I optimize my team and it reckons I've got a game week rating of 96%. I mean, pull the other one and it reckons I'm benching Foden against Brentford. Is it having one? Is it having a laugh? And it reckons I'm playing Robinson on the bench behind him and playing Colwill. I mean, maybe that one, it could be correct. Maybe Colwill will keep a clean sheet against a Bournemouth attack that is missing a couple of key attackers. Really, though? And it reckons I should captain Palmer and vice-captain Salah. See, I disagree with that. I think Palmer on my list of captains this week, I've got Bruno, Salah, Isaac, Palmer in that order. I'm surprised that Fantasy Football Hub thinks that. I mean, Palmer's got the massive ceiling and he could go absolutely ham. I just can't see it myself. I think Palmer will definitely return tonight, though. So, yeah. Look, and the other thing we need to keep in mind, and these stats are horribly wrong. They need to change this 100%. I mean, price changes. They reckon they've got an accuracy of 98.2%. Like, pull the other one. They're lucky if they've got an 80% accuracy, I would suggest. Bench Canati. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that game just has not many goals written all over it. If you've got better defenders, if you've got defenders more attacking, 100%, I'd bench Canate. But if you don't have more attacking defenders, I think you play him. That's what I'd say to that. So yeah, players likely to rise tonight. Bruno Fernandes, that is not a surprise. The dude has Southampton. He is 100%. You can bring him in and captain him this week. No problems at all. I mean, I'm glad. I'm happy I held him. Wood's going to increase in price again. I can't believe that. I had this man at 6 million at the start of the season, about to go up to 6.9. That's insane. But Tedder looks like he's going to rise in price tonight. Lots of people jumping on that bandwagon. I'm still not sure about him myself. Sells, really good option. Looks really good for next week. Again, Aina next week as well. I mean, like, I potentially might make a transfer tonight after the deadline just to catch the price rises for the Nottingham Forest defence. I want to have a Nottingham Forest defender in my team next week. Like, Colwill will become a Nottingham Forest defender. That it's a guaranteed transfer going to happen next week. Not like in a day's time. Gabriel Jesus, he's definitely dropping tonight. I mean, the dude is getting sold. He's just done his ACL. It's been confirmed. He needs to be out of your teams. If you've got him and you went there, that's unlucky. I did think about going there myself. I just didn't really think it was worth the play, and it worked out. That was correct. Best captain choice between Salah and Palmer. I think I'm leaning towards Palmer just. No, I'm not. What am I on about? Scrap that. No, Salah. Salah all day long. I don't know. Palmer's got the bigger ceiling. Salah's got the better consistency. I mean, the fixtures on the whole are not fabulous for either. I mean, in theory, you should be picking the player that's playing at home, so that's why you should go Palmer. But I don't know. I just got a feeling Salah's a better pick. I'm not sure. They're both probably going to return. I don't think there's going to be much in it, truth be told. Lots of people like sitting there going, oh, it's going to be differential taking on Salah this week. Yeah, I'm taking on Salah, but I'm doing a proper differential. I'm going Bruno. Hall, Munoz and Gabriel. Yeah, I benched Canade. I'd definitely play Hall. I'd definitely play Munoz. And I think Gabriel's got more attacking potential than Canade. So, yeah, play Gabriel in that case. Surprised people still have Bowen in their teams. Unbelievable. Kulusevski, he's going down as well. Lots of people jumping off the Tottenham assets. Not a surprise. Luis Diaz, I'm surprised he's dropping tonight. I mean, like, he started on the bench in the FA Cup. Do people not watch the games on the weekend or pay attention to the results? That means he's going to start against Nottingham Forest. Now, is he going to return? Who knows? But he's definitely going to start. I'll send someone $50 if he doesn't start. What about profit differential and Burma? Oh, mate, look, if you really wanted to go a proper differential captain, I haven't seen you in the chat before either, so feel free to smash a like and smash a sub if you don't mind. That'd be awesome. What about proper differential and Burma Cup? Look, if you're a risky man, I mean, City don't defend well. There's no doubting about that. And Burma is really good at cutting in off that right-hand side, and he's on penalties. If you're a risky man, don't mind it. Don't mind it. But I think Bruno Fernandes is the risky differential this week. I don't think many people are doing it. I am doing it. I mean, the last time I took a risk like this was Dominic Solanke, and that went absolutely horribly. But that's the only time I've stuffed it up this season. So I'm willing to have another. I'm willing to risk the rank a little bit. I just feel like my team's in a pretty good spot this week to take these kind of risks on. So I'm going to do it and hope for the best. Hope that Nottingham Forest can defend as well as they have been defending, and hope that Bournemouth, who have actually been defending pretty well as well, defend pretty well, and hopefully it's a Nicholas Jackson goal instead of a Cole Palmer one. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing there. Nothing really else there. I mean, Munoz still doesn't look like he's going to rise, which is quite funny. Raul potentially might rise overnight. I mean, some of these ones are just miles off it. Anthony Gordon obviously rose. I mean, everyone just continues to bring him. I don't mind it. Rogers also looks pretty good after the next 2 weeks, but I wouldn't be bringing him then. June Timber, I might have to actually move him on because he's going to cost me some money if I hold him and people keep selling him at that rate. That's disappointing. Play Wood or Mbeumo? I think I'd play Mbeumo. Nicer fixture on paper. I mean, they're both on penalties. I feel like Brentford always score goals at the G-Tech as well. I feel like Mbeumo's probably a better pick than Wood. I mean, I'm benching Wood. Lots of people talking about Isaac being out still. I'm not sure. So yeah, where's my lineup for the week? By the way, if you were wildcarding and you had my team value, that's probably what I'd go with. Just an FYI. And so I really rate that team with forward planning for the blank game week in 29 and also the double game week in 24. You've obviously got 1 Everton player in there, 3 Liverpool. You cover it pretty nicely. But yeah, onto my team. I don't think there's much more. Well, hold on. Where's the pick team? There we go. So yeah, for me, I mean, Becker versus Fabianski. I mean, like, there is a world where Fabianski potentially keeps a clean sheet and Becker doesn't. But this has been my problem all season. I've had keepers. I mean, I've had 1 clean sheet from Alisson and I've owned him for, well, I've owned him since game week 18. Got me 2 points against Leicester, 1 against Man United, 6 against West Ham. Hasn't been a great transfer. I mean, I had Verbruggen before him, and he got me no points. And then before him, I had Raya, who also got me no points in the time I had him in my team. It was the team when Arsenal kept on conceding. And then before then, I had Dean Henderson, and he only got me 1 clean sheet. So across this season, I've had 2 clean sheets from my goalkeepers all season long. It's unbelievably bad luck. I think it also just goes to show there hasn't been that many clean sheets this season. So keepers like one of them dud positions. Anyone started the season with Sells and they've left him in there all season. The points difference is huge. Like Alisson's, obviously you wouldn't have had him for then. I mean, ironically, I should have had Kelleher. He would have been much better. But goalkeeper wise, like Sells is so far in front. Pickford in at number 2. Ray's in at number 3, but like I've just not had him for the points. Like he kept the clean sheets at the start of the season. He got 18 points there. Then I bought him in game week here and kept nothing. And then I sold him on wildcard in game week 12 when I missed the clean sheet there, missed the Man United clean sheet, missed the Everton clean sheet, missed the Ipswich one. I should have just left it on Raya instead of bringing in Verbruggen. And I was originally going to do that, but Brighton's fixtures looked amazing. The clean sheets this year have just been shit. Let's be honest. It's just one of them things, unfortunately. But yeah, I think that's what I'll be going with. That's definitely the team I'm going with. Bruno Fernandes is confirmed as captain. Mo Salah will be doubling up as a vice captain. You know what? I should really just take a real potluck. Just make Phil Foden vice captain, just for something, a bit of a laugh. But I think I'll play it safe for the vice captain. I mean, realistically, Bruno's definitely going to be playing. I just got a feeling that this week is the week to do it. I've got Chris Wood obviously deputising on the bench in case Isaac is a laid out. I just can't foresee anyone else in this lineup that I should be dropping Chris Wood for, which is why Chris Wood starts. Oh, sorry, Chris Wood is on the bench. What am I on about? That's why Nicholas Jackson starts. That's why Chris Wood's on the bench. Oh my God, I'm losing the plot here. I'm so tired. It's like almost 2 a.m. here. Is it worth captaining Haaland? 100%. If you've got Haaland this week, buddy, I would 100% be playing the captaincy on him. It's going to be a nice differential this week. Brentford definitely concede goals. Yeah. If you're tying up and you've got like Salah and Palmer and Haaland, I'd be captaining Haaland instead of Palmer or Salah this week. I'd be pretty confident in Haaland returning more points. Hopefully that helps. Also, I haven't seen you on the chat before. Give us a sub if you're new. Yeah, I think we've got 3 minutes left. You've got 3 minutes to make your final decisions before the deadline is going to ram shut. If we have a quick look at the leagues as well. If you do want to join the league, the code is in the very top of the thing. We do have Amat who is leading it. This dude is still ranked 1,461 for the season. 1,394 points. He has been really good. He did have an average week last week where I caught 22 points up on him, but he does look really good. Yeah, I have Salah. Oh, and Isaac. Yeah, 100%, man. I'd go Haaland. I'd still go Haaland with those four. Yep, this week. It is the week to go differential. That's why I'm captaining Bruno. I think this is a week where, yes, Salah, Palmer, and Isaac all might return, but it might only be a one return. They might just get a goal or an assist, and that'll be it. I don't think there's going to be massive hovels amongst any of them this week. Whereas I feel like Bruno Fernandes with Southampton, Man City against Brentford, there's more potential there for a massive haul. So, I mean, I've got Phil Foden in my team. I'm hoping Haaland returns massively because that means that Phil Foden probably is as well. So that's the way I'm looking at it. So yeah, the league is, I mean, it's pretty tight, truth be told, across the board. So competitive edge moved up in the third spot. Who have I got in the head-to-head league this week? That's what I need to check. I almost forgot. Every week counts. Who have we got? Smash Grace last week. Unlucky. Who have I got this week? Game week 21. I've got Bob. Bob's team. Should have given him some crap advice. What did he got? 63 points last week. Who's he got? He's got Sells. Oh, mate, he's got Sells in goal. That already concerns me. Sells versus Allison. He's got Robinson. He's going to have Konza versus Everton. I've got Timber. He's got Timber as well. He's going to bench Kirk as an 8-Nori, I'd suggest. He's got Isaac and Jackson. There's no points to be made there. So in reality, it's Man United outperforming Crystal Palace and Bournemouth. I like my odds. I think I should beat him. All right, yeah, back to pick team. There it is. Play Semenyo or Rodgers. I think I'd be leaning towards Morgan Rodgers. I think Aston Villa got more chance of scoring than Bournemouth do against Chelsea. I think yeah. Rodgers just looked in good form, man. He played in the FA Cup against West Ham and looked absolutely mint. I thought he was great. I thought just looked really good. Really liked him. All right, we've got about one. I think the deadline might have just about passed. It is now 2 o'clock, which means it must be 6 o'clock back in the UK, and I'm so wide awake, it's ridiculous. I'm not ready to go to bed. I should be going to bed, but I'm just going to stay up. I'm going to watch the football. I've got an hour and a half until the first game's on. I'm going to whack on Optus Sport and put on the Goal Rush so I can watch all the goals live, watch all the football live. That's the only one thing I mislike about. Oh no! Yes, you may have run out of time if you didn't lock that in. Hopefully you did. I hope you did. Really hoping you did. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the fact I can watch Goal Rush so easily over here. I'm not excited by the fact that I have to wake up at stupid o'clock again to watch football. Whereas being in the UK, and also it was great. I was at Alan's most of the time. We had really good bands. He couldn't join me today because obviously he was working, but he should hopefully be back joining us live from London. Instead of you'll seeing my little deadline to days decisions graphic there, you will see Alan's hopefully head there on Saturday. All right, hopefully everyone's locked in their stuff. Good luck in game week 21. Hopefully it is another green arrow for me and I go inside the top 40,000 this week. Touch wood. I mean, if the Bruno Fernandes captain fails, I may end up outside the top 50, but I just got a feeling it's going to work for me this week. The Southampton fixture is one you target. Should be targeting all season long. Most of the time it's worked. Hopefully it continues to work this week. They look crap against Brentford, and hopefully the fact that they won in the FA Cup might think that they get a bit ahead of themselves, and it really opens it up for Man United. So touch wood. Yeah, 100%. Hopefully he does, man. Hopefully he does. I hope he does for you. I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. That's been the D Unit. Good luck in game week 20.